Okay. Hey lovely readers, and welcome to another episode of Manga Probe. Not getting enough exercise, tired of feeling lazy, like you haven't done anything all day but sit on your butt. Want to feel like you're doing something but not actually doing something? Then read sports manga. As you can see from the title, we will be discussing sports manga today. I'm really hyper today, and I just am so passionate about talking about sports manga with you. You want to know why? One of the best things about sports manga to me is that it actually tries to teach you how to play the sport while you're reading it. So for this genre discussion, I decided to do it a little bit different. I have about 3 sports that I will be discussing with you. For each sport, there is a manga that I actually own a copy of, and I have already read it, and it's an older manga. And then I have a current, newer one that I don't actually own physical copies of because they are ongoing and not published in English yet, but they do have English translations that you can read online. And I will leave a link down below for those if you are interested in them after I tell you about them. So the first sport is tennis. And for that one, I don't think anybody who reads manga could think of another one that's best befitting of this sport, and that is Prince of Tennis by Takeshi Konomi. This is a completed series. It was released in Japan back in 1999, and it was released in English in 2004, I want to say. There are a total of 42 volumes. I do believe that they made like a spin-off series or like a continuation series of like him when he gets a little bit older, but I never actually read that. I only ever read this and watched the anime for this because there is an anime adaptation for it. This manga right here is the reason I own one of these. Basically the story is about this boy right here. His name is Echizen Ryoma, and he is a 12-year-old tennis prodigy. His father was a famous tennis player back in the day, but got an injury at one of his tournaments and had to quit playing tennis. But his talent for the game passed on to his son, and his son, now 12 years old, starts middle school in a school that is widely known for their famous tennis club, with a lot of really famous, awesome players that are young players. This is shonen, so it's geared towards guys, so there's a lot of like action scenes in which they have battles by, you know, playing tennis against one another. There's tournaments that they go to, but it's also really heavy on friendship. So yes, Prince of Tennis. Back in high school, me and my friends used to watch the anime and then go outside in the driveway and play tennis with each other. So it really influenced us to get some exercise. And then the newer tennis manga / anime that I'm getting into recently is called Baby Steps by Katsuki Hikaru. It was released in Japan in 2007, and they have translations for it online, but as far as an English publication, they have not gotten one yet, or who knows if they ever will. But anyways, I really am enjoying this. Also, an anime series for this just aired this spring season, I think, and it's really good, by the way. I like it so far. It's essentially about an honor student named Eiichiro. He does nothing but study. He makes notes. Like, he has the most famous notes in school. Everybody in school knows that if they want to have notes to study for a test or anything like that, to ask him. He's very friendly. He makes copies of his notes. Like, he literally keeps a huge bag of notes, and it's important that I'm mentioning this because it helps in his tennis playing. So one day he decides that he doesn't get enough exercise, and he's thinking of adding in a little bit of a sport of some kind to put in between, you know, all of his studying. And he has like a little schedule that he follows, and he follows it to a T. And he finds this flyer for like a free tennis lesson at this tennis club, so he decides, hey, why not? I'll try tennis. So he goes and he watches at first, and his endurance is not what he thinks it is. He has a really hard time, but at the same time, he instantly falls in love with the game, and he comes back and he starts playing. It's essentially about him finding himself and what he really wants to do, because he keeps getting asked at school, you know, where are you going in life? And this is the first step, and I think that's why it's called Baby Steps. But it is the first step in him learning who he is as a person and what he wants to do in his life in the future, where he's going. He expresses he doesn't even care about school, and yet that's all he does in his free time is study, but he doesn't care. Again, he starts playing tennis and he takes very intricate notes, like he's very detailed, and it's really cool because then as you're reading it, you're seeing like his point of view of what he thinks of tennis, so it's very like technical. And in him being technical, he finds that he's got a talent for this sport and he's actually really good, and he loves to study, so he loves to practice all the time, and it's just, you know, him growing. It's a very sweet story. It's very sweet. I like it. And the next sport is volleyball. Sorry, I don't own a volleyball, otherwise I'd show it to you right now, but we're discussing volleyball next. So the first one that I have here is Crimson Hero by Mitsuba Takanashi. This was published back in Japan, I believe, in 2003, and then published in English in 2005. It has 20 volumes to it. I thought I owned the entire series, but apparently I only own half of it. Definitely a lot different from the tennis series that I've discussed already, because yes, it has a lot to do with the sport in it, but it is geared towards girls because it's a shoujo, so there's a lot of relationship-based stuff in here. This is about a girl named Nobara Sumiyoshi, and surprise, surprise, she loves to play volleyball. She is a 15-year-old tomboy, and she loves playing sports. She would rather do nothing but that. Her family hates the fact that she loves volleyball, though. They would rather her be a prim, proper girl and inherit the mistress role at their restaurant that they own. Basically, they want her to be a hostess, so they want her to act more like a woman than anything else. And she's a tomboy, and she loves to get dirty in the sports and stuff like that, so she does not like the fact that they don't want her to play volleyball, so she kind of runs away and seeks help from her aunt, who is the house mother of a dorm at a high school, and she ends up moving into the dorm with her aunt and becoming like a second house mother there, and it's a boys' dorm. What kind of drama is going to go on there? So she decides to enter this high school that the dorm is for anyways. Comes to find that although they have a very famous volleyball team for men, there is no women's team. So it's kind of her journey with forming a new women's volleyball team in the school and then becoming stronger. And it's also her relationship with two guys in particular, so there's a strong love triangle going on there, and it's really good. On the more manly side of volleyball, we have Haikyuu. Haikyuu was created by Haruichi Furudate, and it came out in Japan in 2012. It is still ongoing, and it recently aired, I believe, also this spring season, an anime adaptation of it as well. And I love that anime. It is hilarious and so much fun. Right now they have 110 chapters that have been translated online that you can read. Links down below. This is about a junior high student named Shoyo Hinata. He loves to play volleyball, except that his middle school does not have a volleyball team. So he kind of had to learn by himself, by asking his friends and other people to, you know, toss him the ball so he can practice like hitting it. He's very short, but he's decided that he wants to take after a famous player only known as the Small Giant. So he finally gets a group of friends to form a small club, and they have their first official match against another school, and they lose. In this match, though, he meets another player who is simply known as the King of the Court. His name is Tobio Kageyama, and Hinata loses to him and decides that this guy is going to be his rival, who is basically kind of the opposite of him. Hinata is like optimistic and like, yeah, it's alright that we missed that point because we'll get it next time. While this other guy is like, if you don't get that point, I will slap you across the face so hard that your teeth will come out. And so they graduate middle school, and he moves to a high school that is known for having a famous volleyball team. And guess who also goes to this school? That's right, Kageyama goes to the school as well, and they reluctantly become teammates. And so on the story goes from there. Really awesome sports manga, and it is hilarious because these two characters clash and yet they do so well together. Although I don't know if I'll ever pick up volleyball, but it is summertime. Beach volleyball time is here. Check it out, and then maybe go play some volleyball at the beach while you're there. And the last sport that I want to talk about today is basketball. The first one I have here is one I have mentioned on my channel before, and that is Girl Got Game by Shizuru Seino. This is an awesome, awesome manga. It was released back in Japan in 1999 and got an English publication back in 2004. There are 10 volumes out. I own all of it. Ba, ba, ba. This story is about a girl named Kyo Aizawa who is forced by her father to dress up as a boy so that she can be on her new school's famous boys basketball team. I do remember there being a lot about the sport in here, but not as much as some of the other sports mangas. This one is more geared towards the relationships between the characters, and it is a shoujo, so there is a love interest in this. She actually falls in love with her teammate slash roommate. His name is Chiharu, and it's just, this manga is so comedic. It's hilarious, it's funny. There's a part in here where she's on her period. She's trying to hide evidence of her being on her period from her roommate, and it's just hilarious and so funny, and some of the faces in here are just, like, here she's like cramping because of her periods, and they're like, what's wrong, why are you making that angry face? And she's like, she can't tell them that she's having cramps from her period, so he gets mad and he slaps her because he's like, why are you pissed off at me? And she's like, I'm not angry, I'm on my period and I can't tell you. Okay, boom, there we go. Can you guys tell that that's one of my favorite series? And then the last and final more recent manga that I've been reading is called Kuroko no Basket, or translated as Kuroko's Basketball. It was released in Japan in 2008 and is an ongoing series. There is no English publication for this yet, but I am hoping there will be soon because it is a very popular series right now. Why do I keep going like this? I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? Okay, let's stop. An anime adaptation even released back in 2012, and it is ongoing. I believe there is 2 seasons right now. I think season 2 is ongoing at the moment. And it's kind of hard for me to explain myself, like what the story is about, so I wrote down a little synopsis here and I'm going to read it to you. So it says, a famous middle school team dubbed as the Generation of Miracles dispersed after graduation, going to different high schools. One player known as the Phantom Sixth Player, his name is Kuroko Tetsuya, forms a friendship with Kagami Taiga, together taking on the schools that the other famous players have gone to. So that pretty much sums it up. This character, Kuroko, was part of this famous middle school basketball team. He moved to this high school when he graduated, and he wanted to play basketball, and his thing is he's called the Phantom Sixth Player because he is short, and a lot of people forget he's there. Like, literally, they will forget he's standing there. It's really funny because they'll be like, where did Kuroko go? And he'll be like, I'm right here. I'm right here. But it is a very good thing while playing basketball, apparently, because then he can, like, weave through people and they don't see him. It's a little bit stretching, like, reality there because, like, come on. You're gonna see him while you're playing on the court. Like, that's very anime of them to do, and even, and let me just, this is going back to Prince of Tennis, even in Prince of Tennis, they do, like, moves that are, like, their signature moves that are very not physically possible. But that's the thing with manga, and it's awesome, and I'm okay with it. So that was my manga discussion. If you guys have any awesome sports manga that you read that I did not discuss in this video, please let me know what they are down below. Maybe I can check them out if I haven't looked into them already. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye! Sport!